Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Wednesday, November 14th, 2018. All right, so today we have the moon well set in Capricorn. So likely themes today here around taking care of maybe some responsibilities, accessing a bit of our sort of detached and productive side, and really good for just cultivating a little bit more of this sort of discipline and seeing the long-term perspective on things. So with this theme, we do have Mars sextiling up to Uranus going exact as we go into tomorrow. So it'll likely be very strong today. And this is an opening collectively for a little bit more unique ways of getting things done. Maybe expressing ourselves in new and different ways, going about the things we want in ways that are unorthodox or outside the normal mode of doing things. So great for this sort of spontaneity. Doing things outside the box and just expressing a bit of this true self. All right, so along with this, we do have some shifts later in the week. Venus is going to go direct. Mercury is going retrograde all on Friday. And this week we do have Mercury squaring up to Neptune. So great time to be receptive to the ebbs and flows of life. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this Wednesday. Again, we are using the actual sky here on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. So if you are new to the channel, and especially if you do notice that some of the signs I'm mentioning are different, be sure to check out the link down below for more information on true sidereal astrology. All right, so the moon, well set in Capricorn. Likely the theme today is the moon often represents in the sort of monthly cycle of things. So today, great day for tapping into that discipline side of ourself, which Capricorn helps us develop. Our responsible side. How can we see things that are not so much for our short-term enjoyments or goals, but more of our long-term goals, right? So seeing that sort of longer-term perspective, how can we take one step at a time and cultivate a bit of this healthy reserve, because we could be feeling this way, maybe feeling a bit emotionally reserved today, emotionally detached perhaps, but it's through that it helps us really become masterful of things. So we're not so much, maybe doing things willy-nilly or whatever. We have that sort of earthy, grounded perspective, which helps us do things that do require discipline and responsibility. All right, so that's likely the theme, and we are starting to enter into the first quarter phase of the lunar cycle. So it is an excellent part of the week now to start to challenge ourselves towards any new beginnings that we may have noticed from last week. Maybe since last week, some new perspectives, some new insights, or maybe quite literally some new beginnings. So in the first quarter, it's great to challenge ourselves to do this, set the intention, in this case, perhaps bring in some of this Capricorn energy. Now, the whole lunar month is the focus on how we can bring balance in our life. So that's also where our focus is. In fact, we are gaining energy through focusing on this, bringing balance. And this, of course, also involves relationships. So there can be a lot of focus on our interpersonal connections and bringing harmony and justice, morality, reciprocity, all these things that are about doing the right thing and bringing things back into balance, both personally and interpersonally. All right, so that's the backdrop. Now, the most important thing today in terms of the aspects here is that Mars is getting very close to the sextile with Uranus. This will likely be very strong as the day unfolds. Now, this isn't a type of energy where we're forced into it. In fact, we may not even be feeling it as a default, but do know that there's certainly a strong opening for cultivating some of this. And with Mars and Uranus, it's usually about getting things done in a way that's unorthodox, in a way that's new and different, again, outside of our normal mode of doing things, or expressing our unique, spontaneous self, which that spontaneity, of course, does invoke that unorthodoxy, and greater connection, essentially, to our true self, and getting things done in that way, expressing ourselves in that way, and revolutionizing things. There could even be an opening going into tomorrow. Maybe take some of this Mars direct active energy to revolutionize to do things that we may normally not do. So great day for this. Again, it's just an opening. We can choose or choose not to cultivate it, but it is certainly available. And it's certainly on the supportive side of it. And it can be very refreshing to actually invoke some of this change here. All right, so that's the most important aspect today. On a very minor note, the moon is going to be sextiling Mercury. So it might just be a good day for also some openings to learn, communicate, gain insight, share insight, things like this, sort of opening for that. Now, speaking of Mercury, Mercury is going to go retrograde on Friday, so we could start to notice the slowing down here this week in regards to things that we've been thinking about or maybe involving the routine. So good to kind of allow this to happen, be observant of the mind, maybe let the mind slow down a bit, because we're likely going to start rethinking some matters regarding this, regarding whatever we've been thinking about. So great day for that, great week for that, and we'll see what kind of things are going to go into that mulling over state Friday onward once Mercury goes retrograde. Now this is in Scorpio, so this will likely have to do with our deeper values in some sense, but I'll talk more on this later in the week. Now also on Friday, I do want to mention as well is that Venus is going station direct, so she's also slowing down, except she's slowing down from a retrograde, about to finally go direct again. So if over the past month and a half you have been maybe mulling over particularly your values or maybe relationship matters, these are going to start to shift around Friday. But good as we approach Friday to just sort of allow that sort of energy to slow down and know that there's likely going to be a shift in our perspective of relationships and our perspective of our values in regards to this past month and a half reconsideration. All right, and I also want to mention that Mercury is getting very close to the square to Neptune. It's not going to contact exactly, but do know that this week is fantastic for allowing ourselves to get into that receptive mind sort of state. This could be through meditation. It could be through observing the mind. It could also be a great time for thinking about our dreams and our ideals, and doing this stuff, though, consciously, and maybe taking the action steps towards grounding some more spirituality into our life, some more receptivity with our mind, or some of these ideals in grounded and constructive ways. All right, everyone, so that's the day in a nutshell. A lot going on this week, but the most important thing here today is this Mars sextile Uranus, just a sort of opening to express our unique self, maybe get some things done in a new way, right? This type of thing is excellent. The backdrop is the first quarter phase, so great part of the week to challenge ourselves by taking initiative, setting intentions and actions perhaps, and specifically having to do with Capricorn, which is how we can see the long road in that responsible and disciplined perspective. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast. Take care.